morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Town of Portland Board of Education podcast. And we're in the studio with our superintendent of schools, Dr. Charles Britton. So, hi, Charles. How are you?
Dave, how's it going?
Well, we just finished our first podcast with our new first selectman. So, you're next in the roster here. So, tell us what's happening.
No, how's Mike doing? Everything.
Mike is he got thrown in the deep end of the pool. That's for sure. Yes, I know he's doing well. He's doing well. Got a lot of getting acclimated. Got a lot of projects going, and again, it's just kind of getting his feet wet and getting acclimated with what's going on and so forth. So it's keeping him busy.
Yeah, that was a very, 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 very sad and difficult transition.
Absolutely.
I hope Ryan's doing well. Wish him well. He's many years of service in Portland, did great work, and I'm happy for him. It sounds like he's found the position he's looking for as a town manager in Berlin.
Yeah.
Obviously, the tragedy with Sean Manning was there are no words for it. It was awful. Yes. Beyond words, and
no, for sure.
And of course, we have to soldier on, and Mike has stepped up, and
yes.
wish him the best. Of course, Tim Lavoie is our new Board of Select member.
Yes, I guess we stole him from the Board of Ed. Huh?
Yep, he came over from the board. Did many years of service. Love working with Tim. Very thoughtful, smart person, and we're very lucky. We're going to have Stacy Benham, who's a former board member, come back to us.
Oh, okay.
So, I've got to say, Portland is, in terms of from a leadership perspective, we didn't get to this point the way, through elections and the normal process the way we might want to. But I've got to say, I feel like we're in good hands.
Yeah,
We've got a lot of people who care an awful lot about the town in important positions, and
absolutely
at an important time of year as we chart a path forward.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as all the puzzle pieces, so to speak, are kind of falling into place.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And then, of course, the municipal elections, I believe, are next November.
Next November, yeah.
So, everybody will have another chance to come out and, make their voices heard. And this is what democracy is all about.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yes, it is. So, and that's the thing, and I think from a standpoint of, I think the Board of Ed and the Board of Selectmen, I think, have a very good rapport and a good working relationship.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
especially now with Tim on the BOS,
Yep.
I think that's going to be a good bridge there, working. And not that there wasn't a bridge there before, but I think everything is fine.
Yeah, I do. And, there are several members of the Board of Selectmen. I know Mike was a former Board of Ed member. And, that's always very helpful because education is complicated.
Yes, it is.
It is. I've been in it since I was 22. I turned 53 this year. It's all I've ever done. And even now there are parts of it that are very complicated and always changing, right? Policies and
right.
budgets and funding streams and special needs of students and transportation. It's a very complicated system that we work
right,
with.
Right.
There are parts of it that are very inefficient and don't work well, but overall,
yeah.
Let's not lose the forest for the trees. It's solid. We do a wonderful job of providing a very high quality education for our kids. And to have people on the Board of Selectmen like Tim and Mike who have sat in some of those discussions and on those policy committees and negotiated the contracts and understand the mandates and requirements, both funded and unfunded, that flow through the Board of Education and ultimately to the Board of Selectmen as they deliberate. It will be helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
It is helpful.
Yeah, exactly. You get to a point where working together and that works well, and it's like they've walked a mile in your shoes. So it's like
sure. They've been at the table when these things have been explained and re-explained, and of course laws change and administrations change and new demands are placed on us, and it's just good that especially people who understand those complexities.
Yeah. Well, going up to the 30,000 foot view, I think it's the education complexion that I think is going to change now with Connecticut's own Representative Cardona. Mm-hmm. Okay, now being with the new administration, that's going to be a challenge going forward.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I know Linda McMahon is up for nomination.
Yeah.
I actually, it was interesting. Before I came to Portland, I was a professor at at Sacred Heart University.
Yeah.
And Linda McMahon sat on the board of trustees for the Sacred Heart University.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I had interacted with her several times there. She's also was on the Connecticut State Board of Education.
Okay.
So she's not entirely unfamiliar. I mean, she's quite familiar with education. I wish her success.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I wish all of our leaders success.
Yes.
It is a very important role to steward the education of children.
Exactly.
It is there, without overstating it, the future of our nation depends on them being successful.
Yes.
I think Miguel Cardona also did a wonderful job. Be curious to see if he comes back to Connecticut and maybe becomes a superintendent. Would love to have him as a colleague here.
Sure. Now, he originally came from what, Meriden?
Meriden. He's
Okay.
assistant
Yes.
superintendent.
He's homegrown.
Yeah, he's homegrown. And there's lots of talk about whether the federal Department of Education maintains or they close it or these things. We'll have to see how all of that works out.
Right.
It's definitely going to be an interesting transition. Things will be different. But all we can do is be optimistic. And,
Sure.
And again, leadership is essential. And
Yeah.
despite whoever you voted for, we all want our president and people who are in positions to do
Right.
great good or great harm are successful.
Sure. Well, and you know as well as I do that a lot of the educational landscape is constantly changing. You've got and also the political landscape. So, you've got unfunded mandates, and well about those.
Oh, boy, yep.
Okay, and so forth, and depending on how that shakes out, nationally as far as what priorities are or aren't, and so forth, that's going to be yet to be seen.
Oh well, and that's it. And again, I think when we talk about unfunded mandates, these are laws that are passed that all of us look to and say, yes, they're good laws.
Right.
I'll give you one example. The entire realm of special education truly didn't exist before the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act,
Right.
or the American with Disabilities Act Section 504. Thank God we have that law, right? I mean, prior to that, schools might not educate folks with disabilities, and that's a horrendous thing to contemplate.
Right.
All of our children, especially some of our more disabled kids, need our support.
Right.
The challenge always comes in, how is that funded?
Right.
Because it all comes out of tax revenue.
It's got to come from somewhere.
It's got to come from somewhere. And whether that's your federal income tax, your state income tax, your local property tax, your sales tax, those are the things that our leaders need to balance and then continue to adjust and recalibrate to keep things in balance, right? Clearly, all of us would say, some taxes are more regressive than other taxes, right? And is it fair to increase the mill rate and thereby decrease the sales tax rate or whatever?
Yeah.
It's complex. It's just hard.
Yes.
But, in terms of the mandate itself, whether it's going to be funded, I
Right.
mean, it's not really an unfunded mandate. It's the law. It will be funded.
Yes.
The question is,
Where did the money come
where's
from?
the money coming from?
Right.
Is it coming from your property or is it coming from your income? That's the when we talk about the unfunded part, right? But the mandate itself, I don't think anybody would say it's not a good law, and thank goodness we have it, because what would education look like for many of our families and children if we didn't, and schools were in a position where they could deny educational services based on disability or sex or any number of different categories?
Sure. And again, coming down from the 30,000 view, then when you get down to the local level, then, obviously the burden is put on, the local boards of ed, working with the town governments, where's the best bang for our buck?
Well, and that's it, right? And of course, and I will say, I've been very happy to hear some of our state leaders. Our governor mentioned it in his State of the State address. I've heard press conferences. I've met with some local legislators to talk about some of our needs, and I think there's a very clear recognition at the state level that some of the burden placed on and some of the unpredictability placed on local towns is complicated and could be, some mechanisms could be shifted back towards Hartford to level us out.
Right.
So that, we get, certainly we would all say we want more funding, which would be helpful.
Right.
But that funding is predictable and not subject to change in the
Yes.
middle of a year.
Right.
All of which is doable.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and the good part, fiscally, the state of Connecticut has been very frugal and very fiscally responsible. So, we've got a rainy day fund. So it's, I think overall the state is, Governor Lamont has done a good job.
Yeah, I mean, look, and let's not, sometimes I feel like we can be doom and gloomish about things, but
Right.
Yeah, our state has done a remarkable job recovering from years past of not underfunding pensions and not having rainy day funds and not having fiscal guardrails. And also, look at Portland. Portland is changing.
Sure.
It too is increasing its tax base and
Sure.
going to be welcoming new residents. And
Yes.
some change is hard, as we know.
Yeah.
Right. Change is complicated. It's never easy. I don't know that anybody ever runs out and embraces it.
Right.
But I think we're well positioned this year, both at the state level and local level, to make a compelling case for those things that we need to continue to provide education for children from birth to 3, all the way up to age 22.
Right.
And what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
Right. Like I couldn't imagine a world where we didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, as Mike said, going forward, we've got a lot of new economic growth happening in town. Brainerd Place, and so it's going to contribute significantly to not only the economic growth but also to the tax base in town.
That's right.
Which is a good thing.
Nordic Spy and Starbucks isn't open yet. Can't wait for that.
Well, Mike just told me they're going to be opening in February, but
Good.
they're actually going to be training their baristas. So if you want to have
yeah.
a part-time job as a barista, Charles, you can do.
Well, you never know, right? You
They're
never
starting training in 2 weeks over there. So
sounds like a nice retirement gig.
yes, there you go. But I think you have to dye your hair purple or something.
That's a nose ring.
Yeah, and
Or a
the
tattoo.
septum rings.
I tease. Well, I used to tease the millennials, but the millennials are old now. I suppose now it's the
Yeah.
Gen Zers.
Yeah, Gen Zs or no, I think it's the Gen Alphas.
The
now.
alphas. Yeah.
Yes. So.
2 alphas at home.
See, there we go.
Yep.
There we go. So anyway, getting back down to the local, what's happening?
School is great. I got to tell you, our kids are wonderful. Our teachers are absolutely some of the most high quality professionals I've seen. Really good things are happening in the schools.
Great.
Winter sports is underway. The spring musical they're working on. It's just there's a really positive vibe in the schools right now.
Yeah.
Our principals are lovely. We are having some changes. Our current director of curriculum instruction and technology is leaving.
Eric,
He's going to Farmington. Wish him well. So there's some change there, but otherwise, the folks that are still here are solid. Our teachers are solid. Our kids are wonderful. I can't say enough about the children in Portland. Portland parents, you're doing a heck of a job. They're nice. They're polite. They're great kids. Nothing's perfect. Nothing ever is perfect.
Right.
But sometimes, I look at Portland and it sort of still has that like Norman Rockwell-esque feel to me.
Yeah.
That it's just very comfortable here.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful to be here and very happy.
Well, it's like a broken-in pair of shoes.
That's it. Yeah.
They feel comfortable. Slip right in. No breaking in. So, I know the last podcast. I think we didn't know. Well, you wouldn't allude to the name of the musical that's happening. So.
I don't remember, Dave, off the top of my head. I should. But,
Okay.
Do you know?
I don't know.
It's on the website. It's been released. I just can't remember what it is.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Anyway, I know our piano instructor Dan Hollenbeck is going to be playing most of the musical parts for it and so forth. Dan's doing a great job.
Yeah. And then if I could just mention, we are hoping that a second committee now has started to meet to talk about the school facilities. Which,
yes.
The bonding referendum didn't pass in November. Fine. It's okay. But we have to do something. I don't think there's anybody out there that looks at the current condition of our facilities and would say that they're fine.
Yeah,
they're not. I think we all know that. So another committee has started meeting. We're meeting every Thursday to come up with what that plan B is.
Yeah,
and I'm still optimistic. Well, I'll have to come back in a couple weeks or so and share it. But I think we're all committed to getting back out with another plan by May.
Yep.
Right.
Okay,
Sometime
great.
in May to ask the voters for some bonding and funding we need to, roofs, parking lots, windows, boilers, all of the things in very old buildings that need to be replaced
addressed.
and addressed, right? And of course, part of the good news here is that this is the last year that Portland has to pay down the debt on the high school.
Yep.
So congratulations, Portland. Here's the deed.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
You own the high school
Yep,
now,
yep.
which creates some flexibility in the town's budget to bring on new bonding.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And look, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
You pay off one debt before you add more.
Yep.
And I think that has always been our commitment.
Yep.
So
So we own the car now.
you own the car. Yes.
No more car
right?
payments.
It's not under warranty or no more car payments. But it's now time to lease another one, right? Or bring in some more bonding.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily run towns like you do your house, where you try to pay off your debt. It's you
Manage
want
it.
that. You want to manage it.
Exactly.
You want that, because if you don't have that, then you won't have fire trucks and police cars and schools and roads
Yeah.
that are in the type of repair and condition that they serve the community well.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You always have to have that.
Sure.
But look, we're there now, and
Yeah.
I'll have to come back and let you know there's some great ideas being kicked around about whether it's keep all three schools or consolidate to two, and if you consolidate to two, which one would you close, and
Yeah.
what would happen to that one? There's a lot of ideas bubbling.
Sure. Well, the good part about it is the committee itself is there's a great knowledge base there. With the members of the committee, there's a whole lot of brain power there that put together.
There is, and what there is on it are different perspectives.
Correct.
Like, I love that we have teachers on it.
Yeah.
Right? Teachers don't know much about our values on windows or roofs, right?
Yeah.
Insulation values. They don't know that, but they sure know what happens under that roof.
Yes.
Right? But there are also people on that have a knowledge of, whether you're using oil-based or latex-based floors,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they don't necessarily know what a classroom even runs like. So you have a good balance of people that are bringing ideas that inform one another.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. You've got a good, diverse committee that I think is going
Right.
to, do a great job for the town.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, as far as I think spring sports are going to be coming up.
Yeah, we got winters just on about a quarter of the way through winter.
Okay.
Everything's going well. Then spring will be here before you know it, and pitchers and catchers will be going. And I can't wait to see Soto for my Mets. And it's going to be a great spring, right? Better than my Jets were this fall, but
Yeah, the Jets kind of.
but we'll get there. And
So just after what's your opinion of Aaron Rodgers and the Jets?
I think he's ready to,
Retire.
go back into the dark or whatever it was he did. God bless him. Thank you for your efforts. It's I'm not looking at it. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback, right? We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I
Enough
don't-
said.
He's-
Duly noted.
He's an interesting fellow.
Yes. Well, he's been around a long time, and it's like
Hall of Fame career. God bless him.
yeah, but no run to retire.
Yeah, right. We'll see. It's just it just, as a Jets fan, it cracks me up now to watch Sam Darnold with the Vikings lighting it up after
Yes.
the Jets were the ones who drafted him. It's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't we be there?
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
so jealous.
He did a great job last night at the game.
Yeah, they lost, but they had a good
unfortunately
season.
didn't. But he had a lot happening.
That's right.
For sure. So anything else happening? From
No, just that everything's going. Stay involved, everybody. Tune in. We're in the middle of budget season. We have workshops coming up. I'm very committed to transparency. If anybody has questions, let me know. Stay involved in the sports. Come watch them. Spring musicals coming up,
Yep.
and then of course, graduation, and the spring will be here before we know it.
yeah,
We're
for sure.
halfway through.
Yeah,
It's amazing how fast it goes.
The days are getting longer.
Yeah, that's right.
and so forth. And I know because I walk at the track every morning at 5. It's
Yeah.
the sun keeps popping up, so it works out well. But anyway,
Good.
all right, Charles, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming down, and we'll have to schedule our next podcast. I'm going to try to get you and Mike on the same day again.
Great.
Next time around, and hopefully, Mike has got a lot of energy coming forward, and working with you guys, and he's got some good ideas, and so I think all in all, I think that the town is in a good place.
I do too.
All right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That concludes this episode of the Town of Portland Board of Education podcast. And with us again, thank you so much to our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Charles Britton. And until next time, that is all.